Hey, everybody, welcome into Gwynn and Chris. Why do I sound so happy? I mean, after that game last night, pretty difficult. I got to tell you, Scraby, that was one of the worst parties I've ever been to. And it was a long night for the faithful, but alas, there will be a Game 5, and the Padres can certainly win it. But today it is the day off. With the series now tied at 2 between the Dodgers and the Padres, Chris Ello and Matt Scraby together in our Odyssey Palace studios here in San Diego. Tony Gwynn Jr. at Dodger Stadium, where Game 5 will take place tomorrow night. And, Tony, I think it would be appropriate if Scraby played the sound of a flushing toilet right now, because Padres need to just flush that one last night and get on with business. Yeah.
The Padres, when you look at the 4 games that we've seen, those special ingredients, the Padres have really only gotten that one game, yet they've been able to win 2. Now, I think the miniature concern, and I put the miniature part in quotations, is, the offense. Haven't scored in, 14, 15 innings, something along those lines.
You're going 15, yeah.
15 innings. So that's a miniature concern, but I just have to imagine in a Game 5 that's going to go out the window. And I think, Yu's on the mound. I'm assuming it'll be you. I don't know if they've announced it yet, but I'm assuming it'll be you. All hands on deck. And listen, man, this is for the guys on the field, man. This is like literally the things they've dreamt up before. And some of them have been through an elimination game, some of them haven't. But this is where this series was destined to go, I feel like.
Yeah, it would have been lovely to win 3 straight, or even do what the Padres did 2 years ago and sweep the 2 at home and take it down in 4, but. Again, we kept saying it, and the Dodgers are, all that. And it's a proud franchise. It's one that has not had the kind of success that it would like to have in the postseason. But we knew they weren't going to roll over last night. They did not. And Dave Roberts, I think, managed a terrific game as it turned out. He pushed all the right buttons. But the reason he pushed all the right buttons is because – every time the Padres threatened, they were unable to come up with a big hit. And that's how it turned out last night. I don't know what Dave Roberts is going to do for Game 5. I'm sure there's been no announcement, and Dave Roberts will keep it secret as long as he can. But I got to believe they're going to do the same thing in Game 5. I really do. I would be surprised if Yamamoto is allowed to start that game. I think the Dodgers, honestly, will start Ryan Brazier. I think they'll go with the same plan. And I think this time it's going to burn them. I don't know that you can win back-to-back games doing this. As John Smoltz has said throughout these playoffs, if you do a bullpen game, then 8 guys have to all be on their game. And as it turned out last night, all 8 guys for the Dodgers were pretty much on their game. But I got to believe the Padres are going to get them if they do it again. I still feel the utmost confidence in this Padre team. I think it's understandable to be concerned and worried and, a little negative. I mean, you just lost 8-0 after all. But I really have a lot of faith. I think this team is one of the best the Padres have ever put together. And maybe for that reason, Tony, there's more at stake tomorrow night than maybe there's ever been.
Yeah, I don't think they'll go with
You don't?
Brazier to start. I think they're going to go with Yamamoto. Or Flaherty for that matter, or both, and still have those arms that they can go to. I don't think they could run out the same exact group and expect the same type of success, considering that these guys are, especially Brazier. He's been out there quite a bit, and I think he's pitched in all but one of the games of the 4, and so. I don't know. We'll see. I think. Listen, you're paying Yamamoto quite a bit of money. I would guess he is going to be your guy, at least to start the game. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to have a long leash. I mean, he certainly they will pull the plug, and I think that goes for both sides. Honestly,
Yeah, it does.
If the starter doesn't get out the gate well, he won't be in there long, and so I think, and that's what makes this game so intriguing. Because I agree with Smoltzy. Like you can pull it off one game. Can you pull it off two though? I mean, without getting a bulk guy, because that was what I thought was impressive about yesterday. They didn't really have a bulk guy. Nobody went more than an inning and 2/3 in that game last night. So that's I ran out of spots for the pitchers. I had to create one on my list to fit Landon Knack in there at the end. But you tip your cap, as you said. I think you said it perfectly, Chris. That's a proud franchise. They got embarrassed 2 years ago. They got embarrassed last year, and I think that was on their mind, and they punched the Padres in the face. That being said, I still think the Padres are in a better spot going into a Game 5 than the Dodgers.
Well, we're going to have Mike Shildt on the program here in about a half an hour, so we'll get a chance to talk with the Padres skipper. Stick around for that. We're on for 2.5 hours today ahead of Thursday Night Football. It is the quasi 49er pregame show today, Tony. 49ers and Seahawks is our Thursday Night Football
Seahawks.
game. Yeah, come on, Seahawks.
I'm wearing my 49er shoes today.
Your 49er shoes.
Yep.
All right. You're
Hey,
not.
What'd you get? You got a new hoodie there, buddy.
I did, yes, thank you.
Nice.
Oh, there's Tony. I see Tony on the camera now.
You got
there
a
he
new
is.
hoodie there, buddy.
Yes, I decided to step up my clothes game a little bit.
Isn't it amazing that he can just take one look at you in the camera? And,
That is pretty amazing.
And be able to understand that you have a new piece of
That
clothing.
is pretty amazing, I have to say.
It's not that amazing
really
when you
not that
consider you only
amazing.
wear 3 T-shirts the rest of the time. So
I do have a uniform. I had an ex-girlfriend that asked me if I could not wear my uniform to the dinner, her birthday dinner, which is jeans and a black T-shirt.
I've never seen any other color on you unless the 49ers jersey. That's it.
Here are my 49er shoes right here.
Nice.
There we
Okay.
go.
All right.
Not only do you got a new hoodie, but you got some new kicks too. I like it.
He's
Yes.
ready to go.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
There's been a lot of, I want to say negativity today, but it's understandable, doubt about the Padres right now. But I want to bring up something that is, on the positive side, and I think something hopefully you Padre fans can lean on going into Game 5. This is going to be the 4th winner-take-all game in the history of the Padres franchise, and they won each of the previous 3. So, let's hope that continues. 1984, they took it to a deciding game of the NLCS. Your dad, Tony, had what proved to be the game-winning hit in a rally. They came from 3-0 down that day, beat the Cubs 6-3 to get to the World Series. You had the winner-take-all game in front of no fans, and that was against Mike Shildt and the Cardinals. And interestingly, the Padres used a bullpen day that day. Craig Stammen started that game, right? And they shut out the Cardinals 4-0. And then the other winner-take-all game is, of course, the famous Joe Musgrove victory over the Mets, 6-0, a couple of years ago. So, the Padres have done this before. Not this team, but, we've had success. And I think by the time it starts tomorrow, I think everybody's going to be in a lot better frame of mind than they are right now. Because right now, everybody's understandably pretty down and out.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about everybody being down and out. I mean, it's just like, in the perfect world, the Padres would have swept the Dodgers and we'd be on waiting for this series to start against the Mets. But come on, I mean, listen, the Dodgers finished with the best record in baseball. Like, this we gotta keep things in perspective. And as good as the Padres are playing, this is still a really good team across from them. And unfortunately, one of their best players has started to heat up in the last 2 games, and I think that's made a huge difference in their lineup, right? I mean, you could, although the Padres really haven't intentionally walked Ohtani, I think they've done it once in this series or twice in this series, something along those lines. You could make the argument through the first, 3 games. You're like, okay, well, we could do that. Our first 2 games at least. We can move past Ohtani and deal with Betts because he's not swinging the bat well. That's not really an option right now. And I think it was impressive what they did yesterday. They did that without Freddie Freeman in their lineup. I mean,
they did.
They just And so I say that to say this is a good team that the Padres are playing against. And so, despite all the warts that we read about and heard about during the course of the season that they have, it's still a really good team. And so, you get to tomorrow, I like our chances, man. I really do. I think this team, more than any team I've observed this team, when I mean this, I mean the Padres, can flush a game and act like nothing ever happened the following day, like as well as anyone. And so I'm putting my faith in that as they roll out there tomorrow. I like I said, I like this team's chances in a Game 5.
I think something to keep an eye on. Doesn't necessarily mean it'll come to pass, but I was thinking about the way runs have been scored in this series, Tony, and the home run ball has been such a big part of it. Now, the Dodgers have scored 22 runs this series. All but 8 of them have come in on home runs. Padres have scored 21 runs. All but 8 of theirs have come in on home runs. It may come down to one swing somewhere or a couple of swings somewhere, especially in a Game 5 with the pitching the way it's been in this series. So, obviously the Dodgers have a little edge in home run hitting, but the Padres have, all throughout this lineup, we've seen these guys come up big all year long. And it was interesting on the round table this morning, Ben asked us, who do we think is going to be our pick to click for the Padres in Game 5? Who's going to come through? And you start thinking about it, it could be Fernando. It could be Manny. It could be Merrill. It could be Cronenworth. It could be Higashioka, the way he's hitting the postseason. It could easily be Profar with another magical moment. Padres have a lot of guys, and it's just going to take 1 or 2 of them to come through, I think, tomorrow night.
That's a great that's a great way to look at it. I think obviously Toddy's going to be the easy pick to click because he's the hottest dude on the planet. But it could easily be Manny. It could easily be Luis. It could be all those guys that you named. But what's going to happen is, the Padres, frankly, didn't play well yesterday. They made some uncharacteristic decisions and mistakes, and that in a Game 5, though, you got to at least play clean, right? That if you don't play clean, now you're depending on the other team not playing clean as well, because in these type of games, those mistakes are magnified to the 10th power, and so I think. Yesterday was the first game in the playoffs where the Padres, I thought, didn't play well. They did some uncharacteristic things for the first time in 6, 7 games, something along those lines.
That's a ground ball that Bogart's going to get 99 out of 100 times.
Fernando
ended up costing him 3 runs. I mean, it was 5-0, and by the time that inning was over, the game was over.
Fernando had an uncharacteristic mistake in right field where he kind of tried to pick up the ball and then he kicked it into the corner. I mean,
it ended up costing him anything on that one. But to your point, those are the. Thankfully, it didn't cost him on that one. If that would have been Betts or somebody who actually could run, that would have turned into to 3 at that point. So, and that's just what I said. That was. I will say that place was. I mean, at the beginning of the game, dog, it was crazy electric. They played that Travis Scott Fiend song when they ran out there, dude. That play, the hair on my arm was standing up. And and it just goes to show you. And we witnessed it here in the first couple of games. You can one quick run for the visiting team, all of a sudden changed it all.
Yeah.
And if you keep adding to that, they don't even get a chance to get into the game. And that's how it was at Petco last night, right? Freaking Mookie homers to the left. The buzz immediately is killed. And then because we don't counter like we did the first night, they never really got back into that game. And the Padres never really got a chance to get them back into the game. And so, in each of the games that we've seen, early runs have been scored, and in at least the first 2 occasions, crowd really wasn't able to get into it. Now, in Game 1, Dodgers came back. Never got a chance to get back in the game in Game 2. Game 3, Mookie homers, Padres counter, Padres fans kind of got back in it. Yesterday, They never got into it. After after everybody got to the field, it was pretty much one of the more quieter crowds we've had at Petco Park.
I blame Chris.
That was nothing. That wasn't their fault. It was just they never got the chance to cheer about.
You're blaming me?
Yeah, I'm blaming
What'd
you.
I say?
No, you were just there. You were just at the game. You weren't. You were just at the game.
Was I not at the game on Tuesday night?
Not for the whole thing, I don't think.
Oh, brother. This is ridiculous.
They started scoring runs once you left.
Ridiculous, I say. The other thing that a lot of people have been kicking around today, and I think it's mostly revisionist thinking and Monday morning quarterbacking, but the decision to start Dylan Cease and that didn't work out. I mean, there's no argument about that, but we'll discuss what Mike Shilt's options might have been and some other things. Game 5 is tomorrow night. I know what Tony's going to say. It doesn't matter anymore. It's only matter what happens tomorrow night. But we'll continue to discuss.
We got some time to fill, so
yes, we do.
Let's
Dodgers,
talk about
Padres. We'll talk about it a little bit. Mike Shildt will be on the show coming up at 2:40. So he's about 25 minutes away. Stick around for that. Tony's in Dodger Stadium. Padres will be there tomorrow night for Game 5. We got Gwynn and Chris right now on 97.3 The Fan.
Be careful out there, but if you're in a car crash,
Vizcaino, Matthew Scraven. Padres licking their wounds a little bit after getting whooped last night at home, losing out on the chance to clinch. But they have a chance to have it be so much sweeter in Dodger Stadium, perhaps having a chance to celebrate 2 times in the same year on this field. We'll find out. We'll find
kidding,
out,
Tony.
Yeah.
Good recollection. Yeah, you're already in the clubhouse for a champagne thing down there. So.
I sure was. I wasn't ready that day, but I'll be ready tomorrow if that is indeed the case.
Yeah, that's right.
Padres 5:08 tomorrow here on Chavez Ravine, Dodger Stadium. I think it's going to be a great one. I really do. At this point, it's the only series that has gone 5. Of course, we could find out tonight if 2 more will go 5. It is the Guardians taking on the
Tigers.
Tigers, right? Tigers ahead 2-1 in that series, and then the Yankees taking on the Royals. Yankees ahead 2-1 in that series. So we'll find out if the Padres will be the only Game 5. Certainly those American League games will be on Saturday if they do reach a Game 5.
Yes, they will both play tonight. We should also mention, because I'm thinking, and then believing the Padres are going to win. So let's give you just an idea of when the NLCS is going to start. They've announced the start times for the first 2 games here in San Diego. Sunday would be a 5:05 start or 5:08. Monday, get this, Tony. Monday for Game 2 would be 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So something to just scribble in your calendar somewhere. And when the Padres win tomorrow night, then you'll be set for the start of the NLCS. 5 o'clock Sunday, 1 o'clock Monday.
I feel like, and I could be wrong, I feel like that is that might be because you got the Mets are going to be on the National League side for sure. Let's fast forward. Say it's the Padres facing the Mets. Then you'll have possibly Yankees and whoever, right?
And they're going to want to put the Yankees in prime time Monday night.
The Yankees are going to get the prime time spot. But in some ways, though, it works better for Major League Baseball to have a West Coast and East Coast game because now you can fit 2 games into the prime time area, right? The Padres will be at 4 o'clock Eastern,
right,
on the East Coast time, and that Yankee game will start 8 o'clock. So you'll be able to, for Major League Baseball, it works best when they get NLCSs, ALCSs on opposite sides of the coast because now you can fit both games in prime time area and get the most bang for your buck.
No doubt. I am of the belief on the Dylan Cease starting the game last night. Look, all of the, and I'm going to say analytics. I'm not a fan, but the analytics have borne out over the history of the wild card round. 1995 it started, so we're looking at 30 years of data. Teams that use a starter on 3 days rest have a record of 61-90. It's now 61-91. So that was part of it. Dylan Cease also had never pitched on 3 days rest before, but it backfired. It didn't work. And did it cost them the game? I'm not so sure. They didn't score, so it may not have mattered who pitched. But I'm of the belief, Tony, that Mike Shildt started Dylan Cease because if he used anything else, whether it be Martin Perez or a bullpen day or whatever he wanted to use last night, he would have then had to go with Dylan Cease in Game 5. I don't think he could have told Dylan Cease, hey, we're skipping you in Game 5. So this way, by using Cease, he gets the guy he wanted on the mound for Game 5, which is Yu Darvish.
He said it out of his own mouth in the presser. I actually took a recording of this on my nice new little app called Otter.
All right.
Where it kind of takes
Otter.
The whole conversation and it puts it in a transcript. He actually said that, and I'll find the exact quote, but he said, at the end of the day, I get Darvish in Game 5. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think he wanted to have, if worse came to worse, he felt better, I think, about Darv going in Game 5, and I don't think he would say that out loud, but he was comfortable, I should say, with Darvish going in Game 5, especially the way he looked here in L.A. And I said this last night. The thing that came to mind instantly as the Dodgers started to kind of swing the bats, in this series, they have done really well against the Padres' more firmer throwers, guys who throw the fastball more. They got Dylan in Game 1. They got Michael in Game 3, although Michael settled in nicely and was able to give him, get through 5 innings. They didn't get that from Darvish. Darvish, who, shape shifts and changes, all kinds of different breaking balls. They struggled mightily against Darvish. Whereas Cease and King, at least they seem to be hunting the fastball a little bit more than I think we're used to seeing the Dodgers do, who oftentimes almost seem like they're guessing 100% correct at times. They struggled with Darvish. He's a lot more unpredictable than the other two guys. So I just think that this is I like Darv in this Game 5 matchup. I really do.
Absolutely. And, again, it's going to be all hands on deck, but I think Darvish is going to be outstanding. And, the Dodgers also take a lot of pitches, Tony. And I think for a guy like Dylan Cease, even Michael King, they need some chase from the opposition. Dodgers just don't chase, and you've got to be in the strike zone. Pretty sure Darvish will be in the strike zone. And I don't think the Dodgers will be able to wait him out the same way they did the other two guys.
That was part of their game plan. Teoscar Hernandez said that also before the game in that presser. He said, obviously, him on 3 days rest, we want to get his pitch count up as much as we possibly can. Now, it's not as though they were up there taking pitches. I mean, they were taking some whacks, but they weren't chasing outside the zone very much. And so that already on short days rest, you can see how that can end up a little bit problematic. And, I think from Dylan's standpoint, he didn't have his fastball command. And I think for those of us who watched him all year, when he doesn't have the command is when he can have an outing where, it looks uneven, not as crisp as we've seen him. And that was, I think, the case last night.
And the Padres did not take our suggestion and place Profar and Merrill in the second row behind the stands for the top of the first inning. Because,
it would have worked.
I know it would have worked. So Mookie Betts going to hit a home run in the first inning of every game. It's going to be pretty annoying.
I have a few people
goodness.
in my DMs that know that I think this way sometimes, but I feel like maybe Mookie was embarrassed by Jurickson on whatever night that was, where Jurickson robbed it from the crowd and brought it back, and Mookie was trying to do his home run trot. And so then he was like, I'm just going to hit home runs in the first inning of the rest of these games so that I don't feel embarrassed anymore. Because Jurickson did kind of throw everyone for a loop. Not going to say I hated it, but Mookie Betts
first of all, we all loved it. It was great. It was great theater.
It was.
But I think Mookie was more embarrassed by the 0 for 22 he had
I'm pretty sure that was it.
prior to that homer. So
I'm pretty sure that was it. And I also said before Game 3 that I was scared to death of Mookie Betts because he's too good. He's just too good. He's not going to continue that, and he hasn't. So, look, this is great. I think these are I don't think it's out of the realm to say before we get to a quick break and Mike Shildt on the other side, that these might not be the best two teams left in the entire playoffs. I know the Yankees would argue that. The Mets are on a roll. But I think these are the two best teams. It doesn't mean whoever wins tomorrow automatically, wins it all. But it's just a great showdown. And I love being part of it. And, it's going to be nerve-wracking. It's going to be tight. You're going to have to use every trick in the book as a fan to get through it. And, if you got a lucky sofa you sit on, you're going to do it. You wear lucky socks, you're going to wear them. But this is what sports is about, if you ask me.
Whatever lucky piece of clothing, if you believe in that, all needs to be on tomorrow.
I didn't wear my Padres shoes yesterday because I didn't go to the game.
Well, you need to have them on tomorrow, buddy. I don't care if you're sitting in front of the TV
or
not.
Will.
Have them on.
I'm like that. I am like that.
I need all the folks who believe in superstitions to just embrace all of it tomorrow.
Tomorrow night is the night. Mike Shildt is next. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Tony.
Let's get to break. As my esteemed partner just said, Mike Shildt is next. More Gwynn and Chris.
The biggest guests in San Diego sports talk. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . .. . . . . . . . .. . .. .. . .. .. . ... ... .... ..
Tony.
Hi, welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. 2:38 is the time. Going to be joined shortly by Padres skipper Mike Shildt. Off day, and then tomorrow, it's all on the line. Game 5 of the National League Division Series, Padres and Dodgers. We're assuming Yu Darvish will pitch for the Padres. Tony's assuming Yamamoto will pitch for the Dodgers. Makes sense. He pitched in Game 1, but will Dave Roberts go bullpen day again? Who knows? We'll all find out tomorrow. The game will be shortly after 5 o'clock here on 97.3 The Fan. Tonight it's the American League Division Series. Detroit looking to close out Cleveland at home. And the Yankees will be looking to close out Kansas City on the road. All right, manager Mike Shildt joins us. Appreciate the time, Mike. The manager's report with Mike Shildt is brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking. It's better. And, Mike, as soon as that game was over last night, you said, this is what it's about. Can't wait for Game 5. Let's go. And your team has been great at putting, losses behind them this year. How do you go about doing it this time?
Same way we've done it all year. I mean, I feel good. We're just going to go play. I mean, there's no I can appreciate the question, but, we've done it all year. We're not going to stop now.
Mike, obviously, in the presser yesterday, you said that you were pretty comfortable if things got to this point, having a guy like Yu Darvish for Game 5. What is the advantage to having a guy like Yu Darvish for a moment like this?
Yeah, I'm really comfortable on a lot of levels. I mean, clearly it's going to be a challenge. I mean, you got a good club, but, starting with Darvish, I'm confident he's not going to make the situation bigger than it is. He's going to go, he's going to pitch. He's got a lot of pitches clearly. He's been in big moments before. So in, elimination games, you want a bunch of guys that are just going to go and not make the experience anything bigger than it is, just go play baseball. But that's what this thing's going to come down to. It just always will, whether it's, April, May, Game 5, Game 6, Game 7. Any kind of game that, allows you to move on or win the whole thing. It's always about just going out and being able to go play baseball and execute and do what the game calls for, as Scotty would say. And I'm comfortable and confident in you that he'll give us the best chance to do that.
Mike Shildt is with us. Dodgers Padres, can't wait tomorrow night. Mike, what are you happiest about with your ball club through the first 4 games of this series, and what are you maybe least happy about, if there's anything, through the first 4 games?
Listen, I'm pleased about a lot of things. It's been a kind of a classic series already for a lot of the good reasons and a lot of, really, dramatic reasons that are unnecessary, quite candidly. But I just continue to be impressed, proud of how our guys compete and how our guys carry themselves. It's a really, really special group that has a lot of special people that takes a lot of shots, which you're going to take shots at this level, founded, unfounded, and but they're just showing up and getting after it. I'm not sure how to answer the other question. As far as displeased, we'd like to have already won it and be moving on. Clearly that would have been nice. But I think sometimes we forget, the other side's trying too.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting to me. Oh, they're not doing this. Oh, he's not doing that. I wish we could play perfect. And I wish every decision worked out, 100%. That'd be awesome. The good news is a high percentage of what we've done, our guys have done, it's been pretty darn good. And it's a hard game, and we play it very well, and we go about it exceptionally well, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow night.
Mike Shildt joins us here, manager of the San Diego Padres. And Mike, you guys had the second best road record in all of baseball this season. And my question is, what goes into, having so much success on the road, and certainly in a moment like this, you're on a road, hostile environment. How does that come into play for a game like this?
I know we'll draw from the experience of that. That's important. It is a big part of the success of this club that's been built around just taking advantage of every opportunity you get, regardless of circumstance. I know that sounds cliche, but that is something that's way harder to actually do. And Tony, you know this, easier said than done. And this group, they bring it, and it doesn't matter home, road, hostile environment, cold, hot, day game, night game, tough loss, big win. Going to show up the next day and get after it, and then do it. Be prepared and look to execute and play the game the right way and do it together. And when you do that, really the environment or the situation becomes secondary. It's just about taking care of business.
Mike, is there a thought to, maybe tweak anything for Game 3, whether it's a lineup or anything, or are you of the type that is more likely to stick with what's got us here?
I'll let you answer that question.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think you're going to tweak everything, and I think you're going to put the names in a hat and pick a lineup out. There you go.
You nailed it. You got me. I'm just now finishing up, cutting up the names and the squares, and I'm bringing Brian Esposito in here to bring the hat, and we'll just start drawing them.
There you go. That's what I fully expected.
Yeah, I mean, look, we got here, man. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
We ride with who got us here, and I don't know what the suggestion would be. We scored 10 runs, we scored 6 runs. We get shut out by pretty really darn good bullpen. They made a lot of pitches, didn't make a lot of mistakes. I don't see anything dramatically changing.
Mike, you've managed for quite a long time. You've been in this game for quite a long time. I'm not sure how many of these elimination games you've been involved. I know you've been in at least one. It came against the team you're managing now. How is there any difference in managing in an elimination game versus game 1, 2, or 3? Like, is there obviously a X and O's difference, and do you feel a difference when you're down in that dugout?
There's elimination games definitely are different. I've been in a fair amount of them. Had the good fortune of being on 3 championship clubs in the minor leagues that I managed, and being a part of the organization at one, and being a part of, seeing what that looked like from a staff perspective, and being, in the organization. So, good experience in doing it, talking to people that have done it. One of them that, won 3 World Series and was just in San Diego, Tony La Russa, texted with him last night after the game, just going back and forth about stuff. Answer your question, yeah, it's different. It's clearly different than trying to win the last game of a series or the last game before a day off. But the reason I bring those things up is because there's, when you have freedom, to handle your bullpen, then that allows you to do more things. The thing about the elimination game that, is wonderful, is, you want to be able to score early. You want to try to get that lead. You want to put pressure on them. And then, you want to make sure you continue to see what it looks like and trust your starter in Darvish tomorrow, and we'll just evaluate what it looks like, and we'll let the game dictate, the moves like we've done all year. And man, you talked about this, Tony. I've managed fairly aggressively to, especially when we have these type of opportunities to look to win games. And we've been able to do that, and nothing's going to ultimately change. We just know this is a game that we have to win, and we'll, much like every game we've played this year, we'll take it as it comes and get it and go get after it, and know that we win, we move on, and so we'll get after it the best we can and trust our guys to compete and execute.
Mike, we wish you the best of luck. I don't want to keep Mr. Esposito waiting any longer with the hat to pick out the lineup. So please, best of luck. I mean, I'm wishing you that from all of San Diego. And
Thank you.
We'll see you back here on Sunday, hopefully for Game 1 of the NLCS.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, no, we'll be there. We're excited. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, sir. The Manager's Report with Mike Shildt, brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking. It's better. And there he goes, the skip of the Padres. Yeah, I didn't think he was going to give me any changes in the lineup, but I was maybe hoping he'd slip somewhere. And I knew he wasn't, but I had to try it,
Yeah, he's not changing the lineup. That is basically what it sounded like. The lineup will be the same. He did announce a starting pitcher, at least yet, but I mean, he kind of conceded that he was comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, I think Darvish is doing media today, so
pretty sure he's going to start. Yeah.
So Darv is the guy. The one thing I was going to ask him, does the calculus change? And obviously the first couple games, it was pretty obvious Mookie Betts wasn't Mookie Betts yet. Does the calculus change in how you're pitching Ohtani with a hot Betts behind him? Although I will say, they've held Ohtani down pretty well. I mean, they've made him look human at this point. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's not hitting over 300, which is, for him, it seems like craziness. But they've done a good job against Ohtani. They've probably done a better job against Ohtani than anybody else this year. But, now with Mookie swinging the bat well, I was wondering, does that change the calculus and how you pitch him? Probably not. They're having success against Ohtani. He's been relatively quiet outside of Game 1. So, just keep doing what you're doing. But, there's nothing surprising there for Mike. I think we kind of figured they had moved on beyond yesterday. That's probably why they're so good at playing so well after a clunker, right? Because they literally forget about it immediately when the game is over with. They try to learn from it, but they're on to the next. And they'll need to do that here against this Dodger ball club.
Yeah, no question. And you asked about Ohtani, too, or mentioned it. He's 3 for 3 in this series when he comes up with 2 runners on base. And so I think the big thing, and everybody said this, has been to keep these guys off base before him. And, that has worked for them. And let's hope it keeps working starting tomorrow.
I think those are the only hits he has in this series,
you're right,
outside of the one he got last night with, or was that with 2 guys on?
That was with 2 guys on.
Yeah,
he had one with 2 guys on in Game 3 also that loaded the bases, and then he had his 3-run homer. What?
I just had to make sure everybody knew that Shohei was going to be batting later on.
Did you put that up again?
Yes, I did.
Did he do that
Someone
again?
thought it was, a couple people told me it was really funny that I kept flashing it up there.
Scrappy, I forgot. I really meant to tell you this, but he is currently 26 hours and 12 minutes away from batting.
Yes.
Officially.
This has become, and I really do feel
you are
like
so
Fox,
tired of that, aren't you?
I really do feel that Fox heard the complaints because they toned it back a ton.
You think? Okay.
Joe Davis and John Smoltz last night were the most down the middle they have been this entire series.
They've been down the middle the whole series.
I don't know about that.
Yes, they have.
Did you see Joe Davis's soul leave his body when he had to interview Fernando on the field the other night? He was doing the smile thing, yes, I'm so happy that you did well.
Well, he can thank Ken Rosenthal for that. And,
that's also true.
And apparently Ken Rosenthal was not allowed back in the good graces of the Padres last night because we didn't see him anywhere.
I mean,
again.
You can't say stuff about people and expect
he
them
was
to
definitely
look the
there,
other way.
but he was not going to do the interview should the Padres have won that game yesterday. I know that.
How do you like that? How do you like that information? There's a little insight for you.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't let him do the interviews tomorrow night either. I'm sorry.
Don't be surprised if he's not. I'm just saying. At this point, I think when you call a man a peacock and you call the other one for pulling fire alarms and then saying what went wrong. There's going to be some pushback, and he's getting a ton of it right now.
Jurickson Profar is your best friend until you're his enemy, and then you're really his enemy.
For real, you're dead to him after that.
I saw him in the clubhouse after they were celebrating after the Braves, and he was on FaceTime, and someone, I don't know who it was, poured beer on his head, and he was so angry that he got beer poured on his head. And he was just like, I saw that side of Jerks. I'm like, that's the side of Jerks that I love right there.
Yeah, man. We didn't even talk about the article, did we? I don't think we had
Not
a chance
us, but what do you think? I mean,
It was uncalled for, is what I think. And,
What, the Ken Rosenthal?
Yes.
Oh, we talked about it when we were with
I
Tony
think you guys
on
might-
No, we talked with you on
Did we?
Wednesday about it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because I remember reading it to you when we were sitting at Baja Rich.
yes.
Oh, that's right.
Here's the
That's
part
right.
of the conversation you didn't talk about, because I said that I think that Fox may have should have taken him off the broadcast just because he was not being unbiased with his article. Was that too dramatic of a thought,
I think
Tony?
that's a little dramatic. I think.
I mean,
they can't.
he can't interview Padres players. Isn't that
I
a
mean,
problem?
that would be the problem, not because he was unbiased. I mean, once the Padres make the decision that we ain't talking to my man, then the station has a choice to make. They had a backup should the Padres have won yesterday that was going to conduct the interview, and it wasn't. His name was not Ken Rosenthal. So
They better get some more backups for the next couple
I
of
imagine
rounds.
there's going to be another one here today, and which is also why Joe Davis probably had that crazy smile on his face because he was like, "Yo, I don't usually do these interviews after
That's
the
also
game,
true.
and I know that this is quite awkward because my teammate is the reason why I'm doing this interview right now." So,
Did
I
you
don't
guys see the George Brett interview yesterday during the Yankees and the
know.
Royals?
Was he sloshed?
No, no, but they did it
no.
for like a whole inning, and it was like, okay, we're done with this whole thing. We're done with the George Brett interview. You know how sometimes those innings go on forever, and you run out of things to talk about with someone.
Yes, that's the tough part about doing those. You get a long inning. Guess what? You can't just get off. You're gonna have to stay on there. So.
That's true.
Coming back.
Gravy here, and if you're like me and get annoyed by almost anything,
All right, welcome back. Hour number 2 of Gwynn and Chris. 3:01 is the time. Chris, hello. Tony Gwynn Jr. is at Dodger Stadium, and he's down getting some stuff, some interviews, and whatnot as he prepares for the call tomorrow with Jesse Agler of Game 5 of the National League Division Series. Gets underway shortly after 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Tony will be back with us a little bit later in our show today. We're on till 4:30. Then we have to make way for Scraby's 49ers against the Seattle Seahawks in Thursday night football. Couple of things. Sam Levitt tweeted this after Ben and Woods brought it up on the morning show. Should the Padres consider batting Fernando leadoff? I could have asked Mike Shildt that question directly, but I tried to go around being direct with him because I knew he wouldn't give me an answer, and asked him if he was considering any changes, and he basically said no. So I don't think it's really much of a conversation. I don't think they're going to move Fernando up in the lineup. Luis Arraez has struggled, but he also has hit about 150 points higher on the road this year than he's hit at home. So, I feel confident that Arraez will be on base and give Fernando a chance to do some damage. As far as Profar is concerned, I'm really hoping that line drive base hit he got in the bottom of the 9th inning last night, which didn't mean a thing to the game.
No.
But it was the first time in like a month that he didn't just pop up. I mean, Jurickson has been really struggling with that, just popping everything up. And, we need some production from that number 3 spot from him tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And Manny, I don't worry about. I know he hasn't been the great Manny in this series, but this is the moments that he lives for. So I'm expecting Manny. I'm not concerned about Merrill. I think Bogarts probably is going to be the one guy, if the Dodgers do a lot of bullpen, which I think they'll do, I think he's going to get to see a lot of left-handed pitching. And I think that bodes well for Bogarts because Merrill bats left-handed ahead of him, and Cronenworth or Peralta bats left-handed behind him, which means the Dodgers will bring lefty relievers in for that group of hitters. So I think Bogarts has a chance to do some damage tomorrow night. Cronenworth is starting to hit a little bit. He's starting to come out of it. He tripled off the fence last night. I'm thinking maybe. The one thing I was, when I was asking Mike Shildt if he was thinking about a change or two, that came to my mind earlier today is maybe putting Donovan Solano in the 8th spot and breaking up the 3 left-handed hitters out of 4. But Peralta's hitting well. So do you take Peralta out and give Donovan Solano another shot? It's something Mike Shildt's got to think about. Higashioka's going to bat 9th, and he should. So that's where you're at, and as we talked about, I think any of these guys can be the hero tomorrow night, and that's why, I feel very good about the Padres' chances. They don't have to just count on one guy or 2 guys. I think the Dodgers, a little bit more than the Padres, have to hope Ohtani Betts come through. I don't know if Freeman will be back for the game, but if he is, he's going to be less than full strength. And I honestly think, I know Teoscar Hernandez is at a grand slam. He hit a grand slam because Michael King laid it in there on a silver platter. I think the rest of the Dodgers, beyond Betts and Ohtani, are most likely to hurt you because of a mistake that you make as a pitcher. Whereas Ohtani and Betts are good enough to beat you no matter what happens. And that's why those 2 guys are, who they are.
I figured that Mookie was going to wake up at some point, and it just stinks that it had to happen.
He has, for sure.
He's awoken.
He's so good. I mean, the guy's, an MVP for a reason. All right, we'll talk plenty more about Padres-Dodgers Game 5. The Tigers and the Guardians are getting just underway with game number 4 of that series, so we'll keep you up to date. Yankees and Royals play at 5 o'clock this evening. Let's take a look at some winners and losers for the first time in a while.
Oh, Daily Gambit.
Let's do a little Daily Gambit.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Duh, winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. I did a parlay the other night, Chris. Remember we were talking about how it was Walker Buehler under 2.5 strikeouts and how that was going to be the hard leg?
Did he have zero?
He had 0 strikeouts
Yes, he did.
the other night.
So that worked, but
no,
the rest of the parlay
it was
didn't work.
Michael King didn't get enough strikeouts. He had 5, and he needed, I think it was 6.
You and your parlays.
I was close. I'm getting closer. It doesn't matter, though. I still lose my money.
You still lose your money.
So.
All right, what do we got tonight? We got Thursday Night Football, and it is your Niners. I think you mentioned this. It said to me, so I don't need to, say it back to you. But this is a big game for the Niners. They're 2-3. Seahawks are 3-2. So the 49ers don't want to fall 2 games behind in the West. 49 points over under. What kind of game you looking at tonight, Scraby? Over or under 49?
First off, I'm getting a question. I don't know if you already said this, but Tony stepped outside to go downstairs and hear Tony. Okay,
I did.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah, Tony will be back.
49 points total in this game. Now, this to me is a must-win game for the 49ers.
That's what I just said, but you weren't listening.
I know. I'm trying to get Dave connected on the board. Lots going on.
Okay.
But I won't repeat you anymore because I'm going to say that the 49ers win this game 31-24.
Over.
Yes.
That's 55 points.
Yes.
It's a lot of points.
Yes, but the 49ers score a lot of points. They just can't play defense.
Wow. What's happened to the 49ers? I'll say under tonight.
All right.
I think 31-24 is too high of a score. Who has more passing yards tonight, Brock Purdy or Geno Smith? I will say Brock Purdy does. How about you? Going with your guy?
I know he's up there, but I also know that Geno Smith might even be leading the NFL in passing yards, and he is leading the NFL in passing yards. Brock Purdy is 4th. Hufanga's out. I'm going to say Geno Smith has more passing yards.
Geno Smith. DK Metcalf over under 42 and 64.5 receiving yards. 64.5. Metcalf.
You go first.
Prime time, Metcalf always goes over. He'll catch like an 80-yard touchdown early in the game.
DK over 64.5. I will say over, too, because he has been pretty good this year.
He has been. College football, James Madison, 8-point favorite over Coastal Carolina. Do your research. James Madison, I believe, is undefeated.
They usually are, aren't they?
They're pretty good.
I think that was the big thing a couple of years ago. They were undefeated and they couldn't get into the championship. Okay, so if you Google James Madison, it just brings up a page of the former president. James
so
Madison.
you were trying to do your research.
Yes, but wrong guy.
James Madison actually lost their first conference game, so they're now 4-1.
What losers?
Yeah, they must have lost their last game.
They've all been pretty close games.
They did.
Too.
They lost to UL Monroe.
Oh,
the old Louisiana Monroe beat them 21-19. But earlier this season, James Madison beat North Carolina 70-50. That must have been some game.
120 points in that
no
one.
kidding.
I am going to go James Madison.
After all this talk about James Madison, we both got to go with James Madison. Minus the 8. WNBA finals start tonight, Scraby.
You know, I got to say...
Looking forward to that at all? Or,
all the players out there, the WNBA players, hated Caitlin Clark for being a part of the WNBA, but I haven't watched since Caitlin Clark left the WNBA, so...
It's not a bad point. Yeah, the Indiana got eliminated. Now it's the Liberty against the Lynx. New York Liberty are favored by 6 points in Game 1 tonight at home. The Liberty, who have been in the WNBA since its inception, have never won the WNBA title. Never.
Really?
Minnesota's won a bunch of them, but not for a few years. So the Liberty are kind of like the Dodgers of the WNBA. Like, they have to win one.
Good shot, Chris.
So, yeah, right. And having said that, since I think they're like the Dodgers, I'll take Minnesota and plus the 6 points. How about you?
I always get these wrong.
You do. You've had a bad run on these.
I'm going to go Liberty.
The Liberty, NYL, -6.
Liberty.
Who scores more points? The Liberty superstar Breanna Stewart or the Lynx superstar Nafisha Collier? Scraby. Collier has, I think she led the league this year in scoring. Breanna was right up there, though.
It's a good sign to know both of them.
You've heard of both of them.
Yes.
That's good.
I'm going to go with Stewart.
Breanna.
For the Liberty.
You know that Breanna Stewart, when she was at Connecticut, not only won the championship all 4 years she was there, she was the player of the year in the college basketball all 4 years.
Whoa.
How good was that?
That's pretty good.
Having said that, I'll pick against her tonight.
Because Collier.
I'm going to go with Collier because Breanna Stewart has more help than Collier does. Collier's going to need to score. On to baseball. Yankees in Kansas City, Game 4 tonight. 8 runs, over/under. Last night, Yankees won 3-2 in a squeaker.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, Giancarlo had a big game. Hit the big home run, a no-doubter. Still flying out there. They haven't been scoring a lot in this series. Where's Juan Soto been? I mean, I haven't heard much. I haven't heard much from Aaron Judge in this series yet.
No, but I feel like they're going to start playing
This is
soon.
a Game 4, though. Pitching is not as good in a Game 4 usually. I'll say over 8 runs.
I was feeling over as well.
All right. And then here's one for you. The NHL season is underway.
Yay.
We've had 2 nights of NHL action so far. I know you love this. The Utah.
I actually don't hate hockey.
The Utah Hockey Club.
I hate that name, though.
You do hate that.
I hate it.
They won their opener, though.
Oh,
the
good
other
for them.
night, beat Chicago 5-2. Tonight, the Hockey Club takes its show on the road to Long Island.
Long Island.
The Islanders are favored by 1.5 goals over the Utah Hockey Club. I'll take the Islanders. They're good. Utah Hockey Club, not going to pull it off. They were too excited the other night. Who do you like?
Yeah, I can't choose the Hockey Club.
You don't like that name, huh?
Well, the Yeti was the favorite to win, and then they went with something that
But
was so lame.
they said they were going with this for 1 year while they kind of figure it out.
There's nothing to figure out.
Just take it and move on.
It's the Yeti. The Salt Lake Yeti. Or the
Salt
Utah
Lake?
Yeti.
Utah Yeti.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
I don't know. I think they would have been better if they were the football team. Like, why did you like WFT, but you don't like UHC?
Because
you liked Washington football team, right?
Yeah, because it was kind of like new for American sports at the time.
So now that it's over, and now that it's not new, it's no good anymore?
Well, it tells me that the marketing team doesn't have anybody who has any good ideas. Because if you go Utah Hockey Club, like, it's not hard to figure that one out.
Scraby?
I know.
Not a happy guy.
No, not about this.
LA Kings opened their season tonight in Buffalo. Good luck to the Kings. And it doesn't look like the Ducks are playing yet. They're not. They haven't.
Did they get relegated?
They did not have a good season last year. The Ducks. Let me see if did they play last night. They did not. So the Ducks have to wait a while for their opener. They're not playing yet.
Why?
I don't know. It's only day 3. Maybe they're opening tomorrow night.
Maybe.
Although that seems weird, right? The whole season's 3 days old and you haven't played 1 game yet?
Yeah, that is weird.
That'd be kind of weird, but that's...
Well, I guess the Padres played 2 games and then waited a week before the other game started.
That's weird, too. All right, we'll take a quick timeout. More Gwynn and Chris coming up after we check traffic. Lots to get done. We will have a Big 5. We will have a Chris versus the fans. Tony will rejoin for our NFL pick segment, so stick around. A lot more to go.
From the 97.3.
All right, welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. 3:20 is the time Tony rejoins us from Dodger Stadium. Quick update in the American League Divisional Series. The Guardians have snapped their drought. Lane Thomas with a 2-out RBI single in the top of the first, and Cleveland jumps out to a 1-0 lead. Tigers coming to bat right now in the bottom of the first inning. Tony is there in L.A. Tony, I don't know if you're aware of this, but this morning, our esteemed colleague, Matt Scraby, made his local television debut. And we're going to find out.
Up in the world.
Yeah, he's moving up in the world. Let's hear a little bit about what happened first. Scraby, set this up.
Give me a second, but you need to fix your camera first.
Sorry.
Before
Okay.
everything
Well
happens. I got a text message last night asking if I wanted to come into Fox 5 and do, a segment on the Padres. And I thought, my first thought really was, oh, God, no, I don't want to go on TV. No. I do not want to do the TV thing. But I thought better, and I decided I was going to do the TV thing. So here is just a little bit of what happened.
Before we hear this, I
Yes.
want to tell everybody that I saw a photo of Scraby before he went on the air. He was adorned in his Padres City Connect jersey for this television appearance, which I think should tell everybody that he does not have a wife at home.
Whoa!
Because there is
sure.
no way my wife would let me go on television with a City Connect uniform on. I'm just telling you that would not happen.
I can tell you one
Factual.
thing.
She'd be like, you are going to have at least a button-down collared shirt on.
Here's the thing. I texted the person who got me on, and I said, what should I wear? I'm a radio guy. And she wrote, do you have any Padres gear?
Radio guy.
And I said, I have a City Connect jersey. And she said, that would be perfect. So I brought the City Connect jersey because I don't have like a normal Padres jersey.
No, because you don't have anything that has a collar on it.
Chris, I wear collared shirts all the time. All the time. But
Black
anyway.
ones.
Here's just a little bit of it. If you want to watch the full thing, you can at Matt Scraby. But if you're on the chat right now, you're going to be able to see the video as well. So here's just a little bit of it, and you can tell how nervous I am when he brings me on the show.
Joining us now to recap last night's game and take a look forward to the Brown and the Blue showdown is 97.3 The Fans Matt Scraby in the house. Matt, good morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
I've been talking your ear off already about how
That look
frustrated
was
and
funny.
annoyed I am, and just like I feel this. I don't know what it is. What am I feeling this morning? Can you explain?
You're feeling a little bit of confusion because everybody thought that after Game 3 it was going to be an easy win for the Padres. In Game 4 you have Dylan Cease. We were just talking about this. You have Dylan Cease starting for the Padres. You have a bullpen game for the Dodgers. They're at home. The crowd's crazy. Well,
Yep.
the Dodgers ended
Yep.
up taking the Padres crowd out of it right from the beginning. Mookie Betts hits that home run, and no one had anything to cheer about the rest of the time.
It goes on for another 5 minutes, but that was just a little taste of it.
The look on your face when your name was introduced was priceless, I must
Should
say.
I go back to
You know
that?
what the look? Yeah, could you just pause it on the initial look, the initial solo shot? of you?
Yes. Let me get to that because
Pull that up right there, right there.
No, not that. He kind of glances to the there. The glance to the side was what I liked.
That is the equivalent of
There.
an outfielder. That is,
There he is. That's our guy.
that is the equivalent of an outfielder taking a step in on a ball
Over
that he
his
should be
head?
taking a step back, and it's
Oh,
the
man, that's
the
awesome.
the thought bubble on the right side of Scraby's face says "Oh bleep."
you know what I actually saw out of the corner of my eye is myself.
light?
No, I
Oh,
saw
okay.
myself,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yes.
"That's what I look like." No.
That can be disconcerting for sure.
Wait, but the best part about this is underneath the jersey, he has his standard uniform on.
Yes.
Which is a black shirt and jeans.
No, I had my nice Lululemon pants on and
Okay,
my
all right,
and
all
my
right,
Padres
all right.
shoes, but
Fair
I didn't know
enough.
that I'd be sitting down the entire time. Thank you to Fox 5, thank you to Raul, and thank you to Jill for
Look at
reaching out.
Scraby getting on TV.
I'm excited
That's
for you.
legit.
I gotta
Yeah.
That's
say,
legit.
it was. I've done this job for 7 years, and I have never been as nervous as I was for.
I'm gonna
TV
tell
this
you
morning.
from now on, when anybody asks me, I'm just gonna
Refer
him right over to you. Yeah,
just gonna be like, "Oh, we got a TV star over here."
I'm not. Yeah, I don't love going on those things. I mean, it's kind of it's fun to a certain extent, but
there we go.
you never know what you're gonna say.
There we go.
You get worried.
But it was good. It was good. I honestly thought they were texting me to ask one of you guys to come on the show
No.
because it doesn't usually happen that way. But I'm very appreciative of it.
They have my number. It's just sometimes, especially during the season, I just sometimes I can't get to answering, and they want you to come in hella early too.
Pretty
I
early,
can't-
yeah.
I can't during the season. It's just too hard to get up that early.
Scraby,
I gotta say, when they texted me saying you need to be there at 8, I was like, "Oh man, I haven't been out of the house at 7 o'clock because I live in North County. I was not going to be late." So I sat in the
so you had
parking
to get
lot
up-
for like
yeah, you had to
25
get
minutes. Anyway.
Scraby, describe to me or to everybody else what you described to me what the studio looked like when you were in there, because he was stunned by this, Tony.
There is nobody in there except for me and Raul.
And
yeah,
Raul,
he was
yeah.
expecting a whole bunch of people
And
to be
it's
in there.
ice cold in that bad
Oh,
boy
that's
too.
what I love.
They keep it cold.
I'm good with that. But
Yeah.
it was so strange because all the cameras are like on robot arms and all the
Yeah.
prompters are right there. But
It's
it was a good
interesting.
experience because I've never actually been in a TV studio like that before. And it was really fun. So
Well, we're very proud of you.
Thank you.
Scrabe, as we should be.
thank you very much.
All right, so let's see.
Where do we go from here?
Yeah, there's really nowhere to go from there. I know we have a big 5. I should say this, that just something to circle on, or just to pencil in on your calendar. When the Padres win tomorrow night,
When they do.
That's right.
Scraby and I are going to do a show Saturday, special show
Yes.
Saturday,
Yes.
in between the Padres winning and
Not
Game
only
1
us.
of the NLCS. I know,
Oh, sorry.
but I'm promoting us first
Well, that's probably a good
because
thing,
I'm looking out for us.
Okay.
We will be on, most likely, considering they're going to win, Saturday from 1 to 3. Mm-hmm. And Ben and Woods will be on from 11 a.m. to 1.
Yes. if
That's
they
where
win.
Woodsy's tweet came from today. He had a picture of Adam, and it said, this looks like a man that's going to ask me to do an extra show.
That's exactly what he asked him.
You know what's hilarious is that
Yes, let's be honest. Scraby and I did not waltz into Adam's office and volunteer that show.
no, but I'm happy to
We
do
were
it.
asked.
If the Padres win, I am happy to do it. But that's funny because we all have that look. Like if Adam's walking down the hall, I hope he's not listening right now. And I go, guys, he's going to ask us to do something. And he walks in and he'll be like, hello, gentlemen. And then he'll like ease into it. You guys
That's
are pretty
hilarious.
intimidating, though, I got to say. Because he walks in there and he's like being nice and you guys just don't give him any reaction whatsoever. So
That's because we know what's about
We
to
gotta
happen.
make it
we're
work.
We're trying not to make eye contact at that point because if you make eye contact, it's over.
then you're locked in.
Got to make him work. Got to make him work a little
Yeah.
bit.
All right, 1-3 for us, 11-1 for Ben and Woods.
That's
If
Saturday.
the Padres win.
When the Padres
Wait, is
win.
that going to
the
be?
Padres
It's going to be in studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're not flying us to New York or anywhere
Well,
like that.
I didn't know if
so.
you guys like doing it at Alesmith or someplace like that again.
Good point.
I mean,
No.
I like doing it, but no, it's going to be in studio.
We will be in studio. Ben and Woods 11-1. Us 1-3.
Did
That's
you?
Saturday.
Were you coming to join us? Is that why you were
wanting to
1-3
know where
tonight?
it was?
Wait, Dave, this thing is not working right now. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, is it really?
cutting
the
out?
headphones aren't working?
I'm just joking, Dave. It's working. It's
Oh
working.
my gosh, you have no idea what you just did to Dave.
I know. I didn't think about it until after the words came out of my
Dave's been
mouth.
experiencing technical difficulties, and you just threw
Hey,
him.
Wait. When I first got up here, I got here like about 7 minutes before the show start. I hit my pod, and it's like got this crazy noise, and then
Yeah.
Scraby kind of gets on there, and he hears it too. And so I didn't want to call Dave because he shouldn't really actually have to be here. He's staying here right now to be nice at this point.
Did you just yell "yeah" in the background?
And so I didn't want to bother him. But I knew we couldn't do the show with that sound that was going crazy. And so I go back there and I'm playing with it, and he like walked over my shoulder. And I look at him, and he is sweating profusely. So at that point, I knew, okay, he's there's something going on here. He hasn't quite. He's working on something here.
Yeah,
and so
Dave.
eventually we got it right. And so when I just turned to play the joke that I couldn't hear you guys, I didn't quite add all that in there. And I
Hey,
didn't realize
Dave, are
I
you
probably
okay?
sent him down a rabbit hole there for a second.
Is he excited that all the equipment is now plugged in for tomorrow night's game, though?
1,000%.
You can
Right?
ask him. He's got a microphone right
20,
behind you.
I have never
23
met-
hours ahead and ready to roll, or 27 hours ahead.
I had never met a happier guy after the Mets won that game last night, because all he could think about was possibly having to fly to Philadelphia. And now, no matter what, he's going to be in San Diego, one way or the other tomorrow. After the end of tomorrow, I should say.
That's a good point. Because you guys could have been on the road for quite a
So
while.
we packed our bags yesterday. I had to pack for 5 days. Worst case scenario, that we lost yesterday, we'd win today, and then Philly wins their game yesterday, wins their game tomorrow,
Right, you'd have to
and then
fly
we
to Philadelphia.
fly to Philadelphia from here.
So did you guys leave Petco right after the game last night? Didn't go home?
Yes,
Really?
that's correct.
Well, what time did you get up to your hotel then?
It was late. It's pretty late. I don't know exactly what the time was, but
That was a quick departure from San Diego. All right, Game 5 is tomorrow night. We know this. Cleveland 1, Detroit 0 into the first inning there. And Big 5 coming up here on Gwynn and Chris.
.37 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr. Chris Ello, Matt Scraby. Got a big five hit at your way. Currently, Guardians up 1-0 in the top of the second. They got a run in the first to break their scoreless streak there. Padres will need to do the same thing. Hopefully it can be done in the first inning of tomorrow night's game. Big Five, Mr. Scraby has there's been some news in the media, in the sports media world here. You hope this Big Five is legit today.
It's all right.
Okay. That hesitation.
Well,
was
that'll keep
already
everybody
on
tuned
there.
in.
You can lie sometimes, Scrabe, and keep everybody dialed in as opposed to just telling the truth all the time.
Oh, this is going to be one of the best Big Fives we've ever done.
It's too late
That's
now.
what I wanted to hear.
It's too late now. All right, well, then let's get to this great Big Five.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drafted Oil Change, your trusted instant drafted oil change. Got a few problems here, guys. One of them is this crash on the transition ramp, westbound 8 to the northbound 805 connector. Also traveling on southbound 163 past Genesee. There is a collision involving 2 or 3 vehicles. They are over to the right shoulder. And Cordell traffic cam shows a collision on the transition ramp south 67 to the eastbound 8 connector. They're blocking the right lane of that ramp. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car. It usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right.
Before you get started on
Yes,
the Big
what's up?
Five, are you guys watching the Detroit game?
Yeah.
It's on, yes.
William Olson, this dude looks like he's like 15 on
Pitcher?
the mound. Yes. He's like a baby.
I need to see his face.
When they get up close, dude, this dude has like no. I don't even know if he has any like whiskers on his face. It just looks like a baby's bottom on his whole face. No hair.
I was listening to Bennett Woods this morning, and they were saying that there's a lot of like kind of not no-name pitchers, but I've never
For the Tigers,
heard of this guy before.
The Tigers have one pitcher. They have Skubal. The rest of these guys are just throwing them out there, and it's been working so far.
It has been working, yeah.
We'll see if it can hold up.
And ever since Tony told us to take a look at this guy's face, they haven't shown.
They
this
won't
guy's
show
face.
it, right?
No,
they keep
they
showing
won't show it,
everybody
no.
else except him.
Every
Sorry.
single person. All right, so we'll look for the face. Everybody look for the face if you're watching the game on TBS. But here we go.
Number 5.
Now, the Big Five is brought to you by Summit Subaru of El Cajon. See all the 2 ways to save right now at summitsubaru.com. The Padres are facing an elimination game tomorrow night, and I think all of us are cautiously optimistic about the team. My question is, Chris, do you think, or it's Thursday, Tony goes first, do you think players feel more pressure in an elimination game, or do they treat it like any other game, Tony?
I would imagine the game within the game is figuring out how to keep it as normal as possible. Because obviously if you start, as we heard Mike Shildt say, if you start putting too much on it, you can start to feel that pressure. So I think the mental game is, okay, how do I keep this as just a regular game? Because that's when I'm in my best comfort zone. But I would say that there probably are a couple guys down there that enjoy the fact that this is a big-time game, want to be probably more than a couple guys on this team that that are embracing the fact that it's a Game 5, and whatever comes with that, they are wrapping their arms around it.
Chris, what do you think? Do you think they treat it like any other game, or do they get a little amped up for it?
Oh, I don't think they can treat it like any other game, but I think some guys, as Tony said, I think some guys thrive under this situation, and some guys, I have a feeling, probably do get a little nervous about a winner-take-all. So, and we weren't going to know which guys are which, right?
Yeah.
But whoever hits,
you make it.
Right. That's right. And whoever hits a home run, we will all say, oh, they thrive in this situation. But it might be some really nervous guys that just happens to hit a home run. I don't know. But yeah, I think it just depends on the individual.
I always think when you say nervous guy, for some reason, the guy in Waterboy who's fielding the onside kick, who's like scared out of his mind, pops in my head. Someone goes up the bat and they're just like shaking. Like, this would be great.
There's a drive.
Number 4.
Deep left field.
Aaron Rodgers, everyone, has spoken to the media. He spoke to Pat McAfee yesterday. Here is what he said when they asked him whether or not he was involved in the Robert Saleh firing.
As far as any of the ridiculous allegations out there, I'm not going to spend more than one sentence in response to it, and that is that I resent any of those accusations because they're patently false. And it's interesting the amount of power that people think that I have, which I don't. But I love Robert, and it was, one of those days yesterday.
So there you go. That was Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show. Now, Nathaniel Hackett, Chris, you'll be happy to hear he has been demoted out of the being the Jets play caller. You wanted him gone.
Yeah, no, I want him to stay so that the Jets continue to suck.
True. With your Dolphins being in the same division.
I don't want Nathaniel Hackett removed.
Okay, so the new Todd Downing is going to be the new play caller. Anyway, I ask all that to ask this, Chris. Do you think Aaron Rodgers had anything to do with Robert Saleh's firing?
Well, he absolutely did. Whether he did it directly or not, I'm not sure. But indirectly had a lot to do with his firing, and it all started when he went on his vacation and left Robert Saleh hanging, holding the bag, and the rest of his teammates wondering, why he wasn't there for a mandatory training period. So, I think Aaron Rodgers, at least indirectly, had a whole lot to do with his firing, yes.
Tony, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think he had it directly, but indirectly. Here's what I do know, is that coaches, no matter how good we think they are, they don't win games. But they are held accountable for winning games. I think what a coach does in the NFL, a good coach does is he delegates. And if, the delegation isn't helping you at all, you end up being on the wrong end of these things. And I don't necessarily think these two didn't like each other. This firing has actually led to what we all believe, Aaron Rodgers' favorite offensive coordinator to no longer be the offensive coordinator. The first move that the defensive coordinator made was to remove Mr. Nathaniel
good point.
out of that spot. So, I think inevitably when you're a quarterback of Aaron Rodgers, stature, you don't have to have a verbal confrontation. You don't even have to necessarily dislike a guy. But if you are as good as Aaron Rodgers has been and the offense doesn't seem to be reflecting of that, someone's going to pay the price. And remember, whether it was fair or unfair, Aaron Rodgers got hurt first game of the season last year, and that season, with all the hype that was behind it, just plummeted. So that is also tagged to Robert Saleh, whether it's fair or unfair. That's a part of this decision. And so we'll see what happens with the Jets moving forward. But, yeah, I think indirectly he probably had something to do with it.
That's a very strange situation. But can you imagine the dynamic of that building? Like a guy that was your equal defensive coordinator now being your boss and saying, hey, by the way, I'm going to move you into a lower role.
That's probably the nice way it happened. Is the mean way is like, man, I've been waiting to do this because my defense has been holding us down.
You've been killing me for 2 years.
You're water boy now. I'm the coach.
This guy, come on. Nathaniel Hackett, he had to almost see it coming, didn't he? Come on.
I think the other thing is, the one thing I don't think anybody can argue is that it didn't seem like Robert Saleh had control of that whole thing going on there.
Everything.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, whether it was him and Aaron or not, it just didn't seem like there was any control.
He said he was pretty blindsided. He said he walked into his office that morning and got fired and had to be escorted out of the building, which I also think is kind of wrong at the same time.
I've been escorted out of a building before.
What kind of craziness were you taking part in?
I was planning to run around like a lunatic and knock everybody's stuff off their desk before I left. I wasn't planning to do anything. I don't know why I was escorted, but I was.
Was that insult to injury?
It wasn't fun. It wasn't a fun way to go out.
You're like, really? I need a security guy to escort me out? This is how much you trust me?
Number 3.
Do you think they'll have a security guard escort me out? Because
I'll escort you out.
Oh, okay. All right. When you're walking with me. No, I'm just kidding. I heard Ben Woods and Paul talking about this morning, and they were talking about the 2 home runs the Mets have hit to send them to the next round. First was Pete Alonso in the wild card series in the top of the 9th with 2 outs in Milwaukee, or 1 out, in Milwaukee. Then yesterday's Francisco Lindor grand slam. So, Tony, in your opinion, which is the more important home run? Pete Alonso's or Francisco Lindor's grand slam?
Oh, well, you talking about in the wild card round?
Pete Alonso wild card round and Francisco Lindor yesterday.
That's a tough one. I mean, wow. I guess I have to say Francisco Lindor because that moved him to the CS, but Pete Alonso's homer came in a spot against a dude that had given up 1 homer the entire year. And he didn't just – what was impressive about it was that it wasn't a terrible pitch, and he backed the changeup up and hit it out the opposite field. I would say Pete's was more impressive, but more impactful. I mean, Lindor, he just became a New Yorker for life with that swing there, honestly. Like, I think it's another good example, and you see this with Manny. Like the maturation of becoming a leader. Remember the Lindor thing when he first got there and Baez showed up and they were giving the crowd thumbs down when they were booing them, and how that completely backfired on them. They ended up having to apologize as a team. That's where he started as a leader. And, he hit that homer. He wasn't like pumped. He wasn't like, raising his fist. It was a super professional, old school, like, gave my team the lead. I expected to do it. Same way in his interview. I think he became a New Yorker for life after that. So I'm going to give him the nod on that.
Chris, which home run was more impressive, or impactful is a good word that Tony used, the Pete Alonso wildcard home run or the Francisco Lindor grand slam from yesterday?
Well, I don't think you picked the right Lindor home run. Because I think his grand slam was big, but it was the 7th inning, and they still had 2 more at-bats. They also had a 2-1 lead in the series, so they could actually afford to lose the game.
That's true.
The most important home run Lindor hit was the first game of the doubleheader in the top of the 9th inning when they're losing to the Braves, and he got them into the playoffs. That's my feeling. And so of the 2 you chose, I would take Alonso because, again, they were losing that game. It was elimination.
2 outs left in their season.
2 outs left in their season, and he hits that home run.
I'm going to redo mine. I think that's the better answer there.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with Alonso over Lindor.
All right.
Number 2.
After 95 wins in the regular season, the Philadelphia Phillies have been eliminated by Grimace and those New York Mets we just talked about. The Phillies are they only hit 186 in their 3 games, which is the third worst batting average of any team in the playoffs. So, Chris, what do you call this? Do you call this the first round bye curse?
The Phillies are, and if the Padres win tomorrow night, we're going to be ecstatic. But baseball, I don't know they're going to be ecstatic. And for this reason, because if the Dodgers lose tomorrow night, that would make division champions 0-9 in the recent wild card type era of playoffs. Remember, the Phillies had a bye, and they came up empty, similar to what the Braves did last year when they had a bye, and similar to what the Dodgers have done. So we're going to hear about that. I don't think it's anything other than that for the Phillies. It's too good of a ball club. They got shut down for 4 games. It can happen. I know the Philly fans don't want to hear that, but maybe there's something to this bye. I don't want to choose to believe it, but the statistics are starting to add up, and I hope the Padres add to it tomorrow night.
Tony, is the Phillies exit a first-round bye curse?
No. By the way, I think the Astros won their 2 byes the
right,
last
they've
2
been
years.
able to win in the American League, but nobody in the National League has done it.
Nobody in the National League has done it to this point. Listen, I think the Phillies just got cold at the wrong time. That's really what it was. You just went through some of the offensive numbers there. I have no doubt that there's going to be some trades that from that team. David Dombrowski, that window's still open for them, but they're going to have to tweak some things. So look for Dave Dombrowski to make some moves this offseason. But, yeah, you know what? Listen, again, I know we are so short-sighted in terms of history. This is only the 3rd year of this. There needs to be way more data collected before people, start blaming the bye. The Phillies, quite frankly, needed it. The Dodgers certainly needed it to have a bye. I mean, Freddie Freeman doesn't play at all in this series. If there was no bye for them, he would have been out from the moment the playoffs started. So, as bad as the records have been, I just think it's kind of been just coincidence to this point. It's only, again, 3rd year of this format.
Number 1.
We talked about Bud Black being retained as the manager of the Rockies a couple days ago. They signed him through 2025, and since we already talked about this yesterday, my question is this, Tony, I'm sorry. Why wouldn't Bud Black want to possibly go to a more competitive team?
I don't know that. First of all, there's only 30 of these jobs out there.
True.
So, I mean, you can't just throw one away and expect to get another one just because you want a different venue.
He has lots of experience, though. His resume is stacked.
He is. I think for most managers, they get into a situation, they want to see it through. They want to be the reason it turns. Buddy's ultra competitive like that, so I would expect that. But you got to go where you want it also. And I think clearly the Rockies want to have him back. They extended him. And I think that's good for Buddy. One of my favorites.
Chris?
I'm happy he's still working. And Tony's right. You can't just, walk out on one and walk into another. That's not going to happen.
No. You got to be offered the other before you turn down the other.
I think he's, Buddy's sentence is that he has to live with Dick Monfort, and that's got to be tough. I feel for him every time I see him. Because he's probably got to walk into the office and go, "Hey, how are you, Richard? Great to see you, sir." While in the back of his mind thinking, "Man, you just don't have a clue."
Like, oh, man, that guy looks like Adam Klug. He's going to ask me to do something. All right, that's it for the Big Five. When we get back, Chris versus the fans, 833-288-0973.
All right, welcome in back to Gwynn and Chris. Happy half hour here. Before we get to Thursday night NFL football, 49ers and Seahawks. Gwynn and Chris on San Diego's #1 sports talk station, 97.3 The Fan. Update from Detroit. Sacrifice fly, Trey Sweeney. Guardians won, Tigers won. Cleveland batting in the top of the third inning. Yankees and Royals play a little bit later. Scraby had a little business to take care of before we get to today's Chris versus the Fans.
Yes, this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is football. Hey, San Diego sports fans, Buffalo Wild Wings is kicking off football season with 2 limited-time sauces. Try their new Buffalo Bacon Sauce for bold notes of smoky bacon, or get the fan favorite hot barbecue before it's gone. Stop by your San Diego B-Dubs or order now for takeout and delivery with Buffalo Wild Wings. Go. Now, I'm not going to say what we played on the station. It's not bad or anything, but the chat knows what I'm talking about, and it was a mistake. And so it's not going to happen again. I let the bosses know we're going to be okay, everybody. I'll tell you later, Chris, what happened. But
yeah, I wasn't paying attention, which is not really an upset.
I know.
All right, let's move on then quickly here. Here's something that we should mention.
Oh, wait, hold on. Sammy Lev just updated me with Dave Roberts' pitching plan for tomorrow.
Let me have it.
So he doesn't have it finalized,
okay.
But Yoshinobu Yamamoto, he imagines, will be a part of it.
Great.
I knew you would love that.
I love when you tell me something and honestly don't tell me a thing.
It doesn't tell me. Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto could pitch the 4th inning for all I know. I don't know what Dave Roberts is going to do. So there's no starter been announced by the Dodgers yet.
Not yet.
That's great. One thing that's not great is what's going on down in Florida this week.
Oh, yeah.
Hurricane Milton has been ravaging the state of Florida. I know I had some friends who live down in Lakeland, Florida. And 90 to 100 mile per hour winds.
Whoa.
They left their home, staying in a hotel. And that's got to be nerve-wracking in and of itself to then go back to your home to see what it
what's there.
Looks like. I don't know if you've seen the pictures, Scraby, but the roof of the Tropicana Dome where the Rays play baseball basically ripped off completely from this hurricane. Have you seen the pictures?
Yeah, I have.
It's not there.
Which, by the way, they have a drone shot of it. How does it? This is where my weird brain goes. But how does a drone stay in the air with all that wind? Like, it wasn't even like moving like it was windy. Anyway, I did see the drone shot, and it was scary.
I mean, you can just look right through the roof and see the field because there is no roof any longer. The Rays and their organization and people from the Trop, which is the nickname of that dome, say it's going to be weeks and weeks before they can even assess the damage and figure out, where to go from
I can't
here.
even imagine where you go from there.
So,
especially with all the other cleanup that's happening.
Right. As far as the NFL is concerned, the Dolphins are off this week. The Buccaneers are on the road, I believe.
Yes, they are.
But that's, to me, is, far less important than what's happening down there in Florida, and we just hope that somehow everybody's able to stay safe.
Yeah,
as Hurricane Milton did its damage.
Very much so.
All right, Chris vs. the Fans is coming up here. We haven't played in a little while. Let me get the. I don't see. Oh, here we are. You can win a pair of tickets to Sublime. You know that great band, Sublime.
Oh, I'm going to play some music right now.
Know everything about these guys.
I'm going to play some music
Rome is the singer now. It's coming up at Gallagher Square on November the 23rd. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Yeah, go ahead and play me a Sublime song that I should know, Scrabe.
This one you should definitely
Really?
know.
You think I'll know? Okay,
Yes.
let's see.
Early in the morning, rising to the
Oh,
street.
wow. I love these guys.
You know this song.
I do.
Okay. Are you being facetious?
I know the song, but it's one that I would probably turn the channel if I heard. Don't love it. I know it, though. That does anything for you. Sorry, I'm not a fan of that song. I don't think it's that great.
All right, fine. That's a crazy take that we just heard from Crisello.
Yes, it is. Let's start the game.
All right.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, the rules. You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you are eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. And Chris versus the Fans is presented by SD Fat Loss. Lose 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days. Visit sdfatloss.com to schedule your free consultation. One more rule. If you are a first-time player, let us know before you get into it, and you will get that question for free today.
I think the last time we played we played Tuesday at Baja Rick's. Our friend Ron.
Oh, yeah.
Ron or Rod?
Rod.
Yeah, he took it down.
He did.
And the people that were there that were waiting to play kept yelling the answers to him. And I was like,
you're never going to play if you're yelling
You're
the
ruining
answers.
your chance to play.
Yes.
But Rod was able to come out victorious.
He
done.
was, and he won the tickets to Sublime with Rome. So let's see
Early
who else.
in the morning. Okay.
Rising to
Yeah,
the
I got
street.
you.
Strap me on this. Okay. Light me up that. Never mind. Let's go to first caller, longest holder, EC Money. Hello,
Hey,
sir.
Easy Money.
Hey, let's go, Scravy.
What's up,
How's it going,
dude?
Chris?
Good, sir. Good to talk to you.
EC Money is a good player. Here we go.
Yeah.
What is the term for a game in which a goaltender does not allow any goals?
Clean sheet.
Clean sheet. I got to give him that because you didn't say whether it was
You're right.
hockey or soccer.
Hockey,
Hockey would be more probably just a shutout, but in soccer it's certainly a clean sheet.
Okay,
That's
well,
a clean
you're right.
sheet.
I didn't
He's
say
right.
which sport. So
you didn't. No,
we
he's
will move
right.
on.
Easy Money moves on.
All right.
I'm the
Thanks,
final.
Chris, you're the man.
Yeah, no, that's a good answer.
Here we go. Question number 2. Who hit the first home run of the season for the Padres?
Oh my God! Come on.
Oh, that's a good question, Scravy.
Thank you.
The
Let's
very
go with,
this is only a 2-pointer.
Yeah. Let's go with
It's not even
Profar.
a 3-pointer.
Jurickson Profar.
Profar hit the first home run of the season.
Stay right there.
I mean, I don't even remember. Oh, they were in. Oh, wait a minute.
Wait
a minute. They were in Korea. They were in Korea. But who hit the home run first? I can't remember. Bogarts. That's my guess. I don't know.
Wow, Easy Money's still there. Manny Machado.
Manny did, huh?
Even with her elbow and all.
Was it the first or second game in Korea, or was it in Korea?
It was in Korea. I think
Okay.
it might have been the second game. That
Second
game was
game.
crazy. It was like
Yeah.
15-11 or something.
That's
like
right.
that.
Yeah, I do now kind of remember it. All right, very good.
Should've
Easy
never
Money.
doubted
You're
it.
on to round 3 here.
Here we go. Question number 3. Who was the first overall pick in the 2003 NBA draft?
2003.
Yes.
Why would that matter?
I don't know, because that was the year I graduated high school.
Ah.
That's actually why I picked it.
Why would anybody know this?
Yeah, I'm gonna defer that to Chris.
He's gonna defer.
I think that's a pretty good guess. A pretty good idea.
Defer.
LeBron been playing 21 years? I think so. I'm going to try him. LeBron James. Oh.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Money.
Easy Money. I snuck that out of
Yes,
nowhere.
you did.
Apologies to you.
You did.
Yeah. I don't normally, draft questions are not my strength.
No,
But I was
that
trying
one-
to think why you would ask that, right?
Yeah.
And he's the only guy that's still playing.
Yeah,
So.
true. All right. Let's go to Richard in Paradise Hills. Hello, sir.
I'm not going to front. That LeBron question should have been a question number 1.
I agree.
Whoa,
I
Richard,
agree with you.
Richard's a basketball guy.
Yes, basketball guy. I agree
Give
with
him some
you.
more basketball.
All right, here we go. Question number 1.
Don't give Richard any football. He doesn't like football that much. He likes basketball.
I know he doesn't, but the questions are on the list, Chris.
All right. Turn your radio down, please,
Yes,
Richard.
please, Richard. Let's see. The first question. Okay, I'll make it a basketball one. I'll make it really easy. What color is an NBA basketball?
Orange.
Orange is correct. Chris
Red,
is
white, and blue.
No, that's an ABA.
The old ABA
basketball.
ball. You're right about that.
All right, question number 2.
Everybody in my era growing up had to have an ABA basketball, though.
I think I
it
had
was
one
kind
growing
of
up,
you
too.
have one too. It's
Yeah.
the coolest thing to have when you're a kid.
All right, question number 2. What is the name of the competition where athletes compete in 10 track and field events?
It's a fair question.
Well, I'm sorry. One more time.
What is the name of the competition where athletes compete in 10 track and field events?
The decathlon.
Decathlon is correct.
You
Nice
got it.
job.
Question number 3. Name all 10 events.
No, that's not
it.
I'll go ahead and defer to Chris.
Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call. All right, here we go. Question
For the win. Richard, have you ever won this game before?
Yes.
I have, but it was years ago.
Years ago. Okay, I know you've been playing for a while. Okay,
Question
good.
number 3. When Josh Bell and Trent Grisham hit their home runs in the 2022 Game 1 wild card Game 1, who was pitching for the Mets?
Max Scherzer. I don't know. I don't watch baseball.
Well, you should because you are correct.
You got it.
Wow.
You got it, Richard. Beautiful job.
Stay right there.
Beautiful job. Max Scherzer was indeed on the mound in Game 1 that year. I do remember that.
Yes, and guess what? He didn't do anything.
He didn't have a very good game. Right,
No.
You're right. All right, good job,
Stay
Richard.
there,
Stay on the
Richard.
line. You've now won again, Richard. Your drought is over in Chris versus the fans. Good job. 3 innings in the books in that Cleveland-Detroit game. Game 4 of the wild card series tied at 1. Yankees, Kansas City, Game 4 later tonight. That's actually 5:08, so about an hour from now they'll start that game.
I got an update from Sammy.
Even more non-news about the Dodger pitching?
Robert says they're still, quote unquote, talking through how Yamamoto would be a part of it.
Yeah, whatever.
I
mean, can I swear? Do you mind?
Gosh,
Dave
no.
Roberts is full of
bleep.
Exactly.
Horse.
He just is. He knows what they're doing. Are you kidding me? What do you think he thought of all last night after the game?
His life flashing before his eyes.
You know, I mean, he's thinking about who he's going to pitch and what he's going to do in Game 5. That's all. It's got to be the number one thing on his mind. And then he comes to a press conference, 16 hours later, says, well, I'm kind of still thinking about it. Get out of here. Liar.
They know exactly who they're going with.
Dave Roberts is testing my patience. Because you know how much I say I like the guy.
Yeah,
and I'm going to continue to say it because I've had occasion to spend a little time with him, and I really like him, but he's bugging me right now.
Well, he really tried. The whole thing with the ball being thrown at him was ridiculous, and it really has gone away faster than it even
because
made news.
It shouldn't have been anything to begin with.
Well, Ken Rosenthal wrote the article, which also blew it up, and then blah blah blah.
Fair point.
There we go.
Yeah, Ken Rosenthal, another guy. It's hard to have respect for Ken Rosenthal now. I don't mind that he had an opinion.
Yeah,
but that's not the time to have it
No.
when you're trying to cover a series like this.
No.
I just your judgment is awful, and I don't disagree with you, Scraby, that Fox should replace him. I think it's fair to put the Padres in an uncomfortable position of having to ask him to leave.
And real talk, it's not good for their broadcast because they need both sides. And
They should have both sides. I mean, hopefully Manny hits a 3-run homer in the 4th inning tomorrow, and I guarantee he's not going to go talk to Ken Rosenthal after it.
Nope. No, that's done. That bridge is sailed.
Bridge is burned.
No, that ship has sailed. Is what
All right, Tony has sailed for a little bit.
Yes.
We have our NFL pick segment coming up, though, next. I must say, as we get ready for it, Tony is crushing me in the NFL picks, so I need to make a comeback and need to make a comeback soon. We will see if that happens when we return after traffic on Gwynn and All right, welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. Good job by our guy Richard there. And we didn't hand it to him, Scrape. He got it on that last one. Max Scherzer. Good job. So he'll go to see that fine band, Sublime.
Will you stop?
With Rome.
There's so many people that love Sublime, and you're just disrespecting
I'm not poking
all of
fun
them.
in any way, shape, or form. I called them a fine band.
That just sounds like a
backhanded compliment
exactly.
of some sort.
Exactly.
All right, we got obviously Dodgers, Padres, day off today. We had Mike Shildt on earlier, and we asked him a bunch of questions. He almost answered a couple of mine. He's a tough nut to crack, but
he's like, he's not going to give anything away.
That's what I mean.
The day before an
that's what I say. He's a tough nut to crack. You're not going to get any real info. But if you want to hear what Mike Shildt had to say ahead of game number 5 tomorrow, you can go back and listen anytime you like at 97.3 The Fan SD or download the Odyssey app.
Yes.
Tomorrow, Scraby and I will be on at our regular time, 2 o'clock. Tony will join us in and throughout that show tomorrow prior to Game 5. And then when the Padres win tomorrow night, keeping our fingers crossed here, of course, Scraby and I are going to do a special show on Saturday from 1 to 3.
That's right.
So we got to let people know about that because people are not used to listening to us on the weekend.
No, and if we're here on Saturday, Chris,
that's good.
That's a really
that's going to be good.
I will work on a Saturday if the Padres are in the NLCS.
And keep in mind that Game 1 of the NLCS has now been scheduled by Major League Baseball 5:15 this Sunday night. And hopefully at Petco Park. The Mets, of course, will be the visitors. Game 2 of the NLCS will be Monday afternoon at 1:08. Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
So that's the schedule for the first 2 games in San Diego, should they be needed. I think before we get to our NFL picks, you got it. Well, no, we don't have time. Let's get to our NFL picks.
Okay.
We only have 2 minutes left.
I know.
Let me just play. Let me just say
This
it.
is my fault.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, here we go.
You got it? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I got this. Okay, here we go.
It's time for Tony and Chris to face off. Playing for a season-long prize of pride.
I see pride. I see power.
The guys make their picks, and then they stress over their picks all weekend.
No! Please, no! No! No!
Gwynn and Chris NFL Pick'em starts now.
I got to say, only one of us has been stressing so far this season, and that's been me. Because my picks have not been good. Tony's been great. And in our point scoring system, he leads 33-19. That is a big margin.
He seems to do well with this.
He's really good at picking the upset picks. So pay close attention to his upset pick this week. It's been coming through. In the meantime, for 3 points this week, I picked the Eagles over the disaster that is the Cleveland Browns. For 2 points this week, Green Bay at home over Arizona. And for 1 point, I'm counting on your Niners tonight at Seattle.
Charvarius Ward is out, so.
Oh, well, it's too late to change.
There goes DK Metcalf with a big game.
Oh, I don't want to hear that. For Tony's 3-point pick this week, Houston Texans at New England.
H-Town.
He said that. H-Town. Baltimore at home this weekend. I hate to say I don't remember who they're playing now.
The Ravens? Neither do I.
Yeah, but
Don't
he
worry.
picked them as his 2-point pick. And Atlanta at Carolina was his 1-point pick, picking against Carolina. My upset pick is the Patriots. I need to pick up some ground. They're 7-point underdogs. I would definitely like the Patriots to maybe catch the Texans napping, but I am worried with Drake May, rookie, making his debut.
Yeah.
So that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough, but I got to try it. And then he's going with Arizona for a second consecutive week. He picked Arizona last week to upset San Francisco. He got that, and now he's going with Arizona, 5 points to upset Green Bay. There are our picks. We'll revisit those, but hopefully Monday we won't have a whole lot of time to talk about them.
Yeah.
Because we'll be busy doing other things.
Absolutely will.
All right, we're out of here. Thursday Night Football is next.
Here we go, Niners.
I was waiting
Here we
for
go.
that. Waiting for a little something
Bang,
like that.
bang, Niner gang.
Yeah, haven't heard that all year.
I can't play it until later in the
Not
season.
when they're 2 and 3.
Yeah, not
Don't
when
hear
they're
that
2
too
and
much.
3.
Not yet.
No.
All right, enjoy that game. Tomorrow we're here at 2 o'clock. We'll start getting you ready for the big one, Game 5. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening. For Tony up at Dodger Stadium, Chris and Scraby, good night.